Hello, I'm your host, Michael Butler, Beyond Publishing CEO. I want to take about 10 minutes of your valuable time and share something powerful about finding your voice and finally publishing your book. You know, every month we start a new class and it's called Write Your Book in 60 Days. And at writebook60days.com, you can go and register for our next class. It's always full and it's always sold out. And we always have people from all over the world joining us. And the question I want to ask you is, why do you want to write a book? You know, writing a book can do a lot of things for you. It can open the door for speaking gigs. It can give you more media interviews, give you new clients if you're a consultant or a coach, and it can give you credibility. One of the things that a book will do is give you tremendous credibility and influence and allow you to charge more as a coach and a consultant and a business person and as a speaker. So making an impact with your voice. Maybe you've lost your voice. You know, when we're children, our voice as babies gets us everything. But at some point we realize that voice is no longer being honored and no longer being heard. But I want to take the flip side of that. With 8 billion people on the planet now, it's never been a better time to get your voice out to the world and reach people that are hurting and that need to hear your voice. When I was born 52 years ago, there were only 4 billion people on the planet. Now there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. There's more smartphones than there are people. And so it's an incredible, incredible time we live in. The printing press, which brought us out of the dark ages, you know, the first book that rolled off the printing press was the Bible. And that printing press and the knowledge, putting the knowledge into the hand of the common man, brought us into the Renaissance, the Enlightenment. And I say, what will the internet do? It's exciting. What will your book do? Check out this stat by a third-party publishing institute. Writing a book boosts revenue 380% for consultants, almost 200% for public speakers and real estate agents. That's really powerful when you consider that your book will give you tremendous credibility. Now, I want you to stick around till the end, because if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you my free book, 80 pages, bestseller status, becoming a best-selling author in the digital age. This book has helped hundreds of authors write a bestseller and go bestseller. But who am I? I'm just a nerd kid from Oklahoma that grew up with my library card maxed out. Now, we've published 350 titles in the last 3 years with authors in 20 countries. And we would like to consider your manuscript and taking your book global with us on this journey. We're just getting started. This is me finding my voice at 11 years old behind the podium, my 6th grade class giving a speech. It's pretty remarkable when you realize the 5 years prior to this, I didn't speak much. Even though I was naturally outgoing and gregarious as a kid, fear had got a hold of my voice and I stuttered. I stuttered when I started kindergarten at 5 years of age and became very insecure and lost all my confidence. But in this speech that I prepared for 3 weeks to give a 3-sentence thank you speech for my perfect attendance award, I realized at this moment that I wanted to be a paid professional speaker. And I said to myself this year of school, I'm either going to be a meteorologist or a minister. I knew at that moment I was born to be a paid speaker, and I did exactly that. Those were the 2 career professions I knew that you could get paid to be a public speaker. So stick around to the end. I'm going to give you my free book. It's important as a speaker and as an author that you grab people's attention quickly, because people have short attention spans. And what we're going to do in this book writing course is we're going to take you through 8 weeks of powerful segments that are going to help you sharpen the axe, figure out who your avatar is, and we're going to write the book backwards. That's right. We're going to grab the low-hanging fruit with you and show you how to establish that credibility. Now, maybe you're not looking to get a movie deal. Like our author, Lee Chambers of Pineville Heights, he was able to go #2. We helped him. He was our very first author. We took #2 on Amazon overall. Now, it's tough enough to go #1 on Amazon in a category with nonfiction, but with fiction, it's doubly tough because the competition is so intense. He was able to hire Boo Boo Stewart of the Twilight series and take his short film festival around the world and win 27 film awards. Maybe that's not your goal, and that's okay. Maybe your goal is to speak on stages. This is one of our youngest authors. He just turned 30, Alex Morton, Dorm Room to Millionaire. We're translating him into multiple languages. Here he is speaking in 85 countries in the last 3 years to crowds as large as 35,000. He spoke on Grant Cardone's stage at 10X, and he's just making incredible things happen. Rolling Stone magazine and Forbes magazine. So the internet, it's important to know this, did not kill publishing. It just killed bookstores. Readership is up globally, and especially during the pandemic. Now, here's a picture of me 4 years ago living in California when all the bookstores were going out of business, but I'm showing the fact that online book sales are up even though bookstores are going out of business. And during the pandemic, not only is Netflix up, Bookflix is up, readership is up, the world's waiting to hear your book now more than ever. And hardcovers have made a comeback in the last 4 quarters. Hardcovers are outselling ebooks, and guess what? Hardcovers over paperback are increasing in popularity 20% year over year. That's exciting news for you readers out there. Now, recently I flew to Johannesburg, South Africa, and it's a 19-hour flight from the States. And as I landed and took the 30-minute trip north to Pretoria, South Africa, we had 2,000 women show up on a Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. for a book launch. And I knew we had something here. So I began to realize we want to harness the power of global book readership in English. So let me give you some facts. And you need to know this as you write your book. 85% of college grads in the U.S. never buy or read a book after college. I know that doesn't apply to you. You're a reader here, but 76% of books in English are bought and consumed outside of the U.S. Here's something you need to realize if you're putting your book up on Amazon only. Amazon is only 65% of the world's book sale. And you get outside the U.S., it's closer to 50%. So if you're only putting your book on Amazon, you're hurting yourself as an author. And this is a must-know fact. 80 to 90% of readers are women. If you're writing a book for men, you've got to be able to sell it to women that can give it to men as a gift. What is the #1 English-speaking nation in the world? Well, if you said China, you're right. And if you said U.S. is #2, you're right. And if you said Nigeria is #3, you're right. #4 is India. We're not to England yet. That's #5. So begin to think about, who is my avatar? Who am I writing my book to? Who's going to read my book? So when we break it down, it's about 60% is fiction, 40% is nonfiction, and it's broken down like this. And for most of the people on this webinar, I think you're writing nonfiction. The memoir category would go into this #3, inspirational and how-to and faith-based. So it's nearly $1 billion category. It's not as big as romance, which is #1, but it's definitely bigger than science fiction and horror. So nonfiction authors, you need to realize you've got a 40% target overall, and most of your readers are women. Knowing this before you write the first word is going to help you immensely. You know, but writing the book is just 33% of it. Writing is hard work. How long have you been struggling to complete your manuscript? You know, we've been doing these book writing courses, and we used to charge $797 for these, but we've been doing them during the pandemic, and we've had actually 45 authors go through our course. About half of those, so about 20 or so, finish their book, and a number of them published. So these are a few of the books we've published in the past few months, along with some that we published early last year around Christmas time. But I got to say, since the pandemic, we've been able to publish about 50 titles, and your book is ready for the world once you go through our course, of course. So I just want to give you the types of publishing. There's self-publishing, hybrid publishing, and then there's traditional publishing. Self-publishing is basically when you do everything yourself. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really like to do electrical or plumbing around my house. And you can watch a lot of YouTube videos and try to save money, but that's how I lost all my hair, is trying to do electrical. No, I'm just kidding, but it can kind of be that way. There's a learning curve. There's a lot of videos on YouTube to watch. And how do you ever get that EPUB conversion right? And where do you upload it? So there's a challenging learning curve. The downside to self-publishing is you never get distribution beyond Amazon. And the upside is you make 100% of the sales. But the average book sales for self-published is 400 to 500 books, and that's it. Nobody ever hears about you. Traditional is good because you get global distribution, but the downside is you don't own the rights. And you can never repurpose not a single chapter of content because you don't own the rights. You have no say. You have no veto power over the cover of the book or what's inside. They own the licensing, the movie, and the TV rights your publisher does, and they only pay you about 7 to 15%. Now, you might get a advance check, but you'll never see anything beyond the advance check because you borrow the advance check against your future royalties. They deduct that from your future royalties. They're paying you your money and they're charging you interest. So you got to read the fine print. And the other thing is, if you don't have 2 million followers on social media, they're not going to return your call. Enter hybrid publishing. Now, hybrid publishing is hot because you own the rights. You make the lion's share of the royalties. You get global distribution. We can bring your book to market fast, like within 4 to 6 weeks. And guess what? You own the licensing rights, the movie rights, the TV rights. And guess what? You can do a workshop out of it. You can get up and give a keynote about it. And guess what? You can speak on stage and do podcasts. It's fine because it's your content. You own the content and you can leave at any time. There is a one-time author investment on the front end, but compared to what you get for it, the return on investment is you sell about 500 books, and that's your break-even point. You're in the black. You're an author, and you're making money at that point. Everywhere you speak, you're making money, and you're selling books. And you get the same global distribution that you would get with the traditional publisher. Target.com, Walmart.com, Barnes & Noble bookstores, and BarnesandNoble.com. Your book is literally available everywhere in the world that books are sold. And people can pick up your books, excuse me, in bookstores and libraries globally. So we went into that. It's almost impossible if you're a self-published author to get distribution into libraries and bookstores because your book is not set up industry standard from the get-go, from the beginning. And that's heartbreaking. Here's what you get in our book writing course. Go ahead and go to writebook60days.com. Fill out the registration page. We have a new class starting every month. So they overlap. They go for 4 weeks. You get 8 hours of concentrated learning on why write your book, identifying your avatar, writing your summary, which is your back cover content of what's in it for the reader. This is so powerful. Title and subtitle. If you don't have the right title and subtitle, your book will never sell. This is powerful. Number 5 is the chapter outline. We designed it so every chapter outline could be a standalone workshop, keynote, and revenue vertical generator for you. When somebody doesn't know your name, now you expect friends and family to spend $20 in 2 hours with you in your book. But you know what? If somebody doesn't know who you are, you've got to have at least 2 chapters in here. Credit repair through the pandemic, restoring relationships with wayward children, step parenting, blended families, how to retire early, how to stage my home for sale, how to find a mortgage lender, how to flip real estate in Detroit. More niche you can be with those chapter title topics and an expert on, people will buy the book because 2 of those chapters says that's worth $20 and way more than that. Now, week number 6 is the favorite week I get the most feedback on because this is the formula I've used to delivered 3,000 paid keynote speeches in the last 30 years and to train speakers for 25 years is this. The 5-step formula I give you in week number 6 is worth its weight in gold. And let me tell you why. we use the same formula of just add water and stir to write a chapter in what used to take 2 hours. I'm sorry, 2 years, and we write a chapter in 20 minutes. Yes, write a chapter in 20 minutes. Just add water and stir with these 5 formulas. It's so powerful that it's more than just the vomit draft. It's the polished draft of your book ready to go to edit. And we teach you not to edit while you write. Stay creative. Stay in your creative space. Let the editors edit. And week 7, it's rewriting and polishing. By the time we get to week 8, 70% of our students are 70% done with their book. And then we give you a marketing bonus at that point that will help you spit, shine, polish, look at the transition, look at the keywords, make sure your book's spit, shined, and ready to go. And that's what you get for 8 weeks. If you can commit, if you're writing a nonfiction book, you can commit an hour a week to the Zoom webinar and the Facebook group to do the homework. So it's an hour a week on the Zoom together. And you're going to want to be there live with us because there's so much group interaction. We keep the group at 15 people. So we get maximum bounce back off of each other, teamwork and feedback, okay? We keep it fun. We keep it moving. But you want to be there in person or you're going to miss out. And in the Facebook group, the homework's about an hour a week. So you're committing 2 hours a week. In 16 hours, your book can be 70% complete and be ready to go to market. If you have questions or you want to jump on my Zoom, here's how you get on my calendar, meetmichaeld.com. But I think it's time the world hear your story. Listen, the major book shows of the world are open. I want to take your book and your book in our catalog and you on our red carpet to Guadalajara in December. Ask me how. Jump on my text, jump on my calendar. Let's make it happen. It's time the world hear your voice, find your voice, make a difference with your voice. Now is your time. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you on writebook60days.com and michaeldbutler.com. Thank you for tuning in.